Hello, Detroit cricket lovers. This is DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio. Today is July 26th. We are a bit late today. Sorry for that one, but we will rock today. So before I get into our analysis part, I would like to say thanks to all the umpires who did wonderful job last week, which was hit heavily by rain. And I don't know this year. We lost a lot of games to the rain, and DCL committee is seriously thinking about how to fix this issue. Maybe next year you won't find this luck, and all games will be played again. But how that is going to happen is something DCL committee is still discussing about that one. Being said that, today I have not just the game, even I had a tough week, one with the work, and two, we lost power. I don't know whether we'll be able to do the show today or not. And also in the last second, when I thought everything is looking good, Ram Saladi, who's supposed to join the show, sent a text saying that he's busy, he can't join. So luckily I have two wonderful guys, KK and Imthi, who agreed to do all the games tonight. So thanks a lot, Imthi and KK. Welcome to the show. KK.
Thanks, Jagan, and welcome to all the listeners. As you said, with the rain, we can't really do much, but this is the league stage. We have to seriously think about what can be done better next year.
Yep.
I'm sure most of the teams are affected, but we can't really fight the nature, so that's the way. However, few of the teams have come forward and rescheduled their games and played the games. And we have to remember this is a league which is played on the weekends, and we have to finish most of the games by Tuesday the next week. So
okay.
Yep. Hope committee comes up with a good solution to this.
Yep. I hope too. Okay. Welcome, Imthi.
Thanks, Jagan. Welcome to all the listeners. Yeah, like you mentioned, like I'm glad to hear that committee is contemplating and looking into the issue of rescheduling or making the washed out games happen. So that's a good thing. Unlucky this year, but hopefully we'll have some solution to this for the next year. And like you said, this year it has been the most effective because we are into like 9-10 weeks into the season and we are still losing games for rain. So it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. So hopefully we'll have a solution soon.
I think in last 20 years, this is the only year where we were hit. We are getting hit very hard with the rain. And with that, let's straight away get into our games tonight. Actually, normally I'll read out the game and I'll ask somebody to do the analysis, but because of last minute changes, I'll just sum up the games. Vamsi and Imthi, they are going to both, either one or both may talk. So I'll start tonight with Troy Hawks versus FCC. KK, you want to take it or Imthi?
I'll let Imthi start.
Okay, Imthi. Imthi on mute. So KK, probably you may have to start.
Okay, Imthi, are you there?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. KK, you can start. That's fine.
No, you can start, Imthi. I'll take the neutral opinion first.
Okay, so this game, I think FCC finally have everything sorted out, I guess, with this game of getting a convincing win here. If we go into the game analysis, FCC won the toss, elected to field, surprisingly, but I think they did a good job sending in Troy Hawks to bat. I think this was a rescheduled game, if I'm correct. The scorecard shows 20 overs, and I think they were supposed to play a morning game, and they were looking for grounds, and they ended up playing in Canton, shortened game, 20 overs. Maybe that is the reason why they chose to field, and they wanted to know the target in case Duckworth Lewis comes into picture. Troy Hawks batting first, scoring 97 in 20 overs, a very good score. Bulk of the scoring being done by Venu and Clinton Gnanraj. I like this name, Clinton Gnanraj. 36 runs and 21 runs from these two players in the middle order, solid performances, and that helped them get those 97 runs. Also, some extras being part of that total, 19 extras. Maybe FCC has to look into that a little bit. But the biggest partnership was 40 runs for the fourth wicket between Clinton and Venu. Going into the bowling, I think it was a mixed team effort. Everybody chipping in with wickets, picking up those 8 wickets amongst themselves. And going halfway into the game, I think FCC would have been a little nervous with that shortened version of the game, and then also chasing 97 with last few performances. They might have been in a little doubt, but I think Vamsi came out and got those nerves settled down with a quick fire 26 from 15 balls, which includes 2 sixers. And then they did lose a few wickets in the middle, but again, I think Rahul and Nishant made sure that they didn't lose more wickets and finished the game in like 15 overs. Bowling wise, again, Clinton Gnanraj picking up 4 wickets, and I think they didn't have that 5th bowler or wicket-taking bowler in the end, Troy Hawks, to wrap up the innings. FCC losing 6 wickets, but I think they chased down the total in 15 overs. That looks to me like a convincing win. So congrats, FCC.
Okay, do you want to add anything to that, KK?
Yes, I want to add a couple of points here, Jagan. So till last year, Troy Hawks was noted as that team who don't want to play a rescheduled game, and they just want to take the 2 points. So they were happy with it. But in this game, the game was supposed to start at 9, and it took us a solid couple of hours to find a game and set up the ground. But it was their N2 from Troy Hawks as well, which encouraged us in playing the game. They came all the way from West Bloomfield, Drake Sports Park to Canton, with their playing 11 or 12, and then they played the game. So I would like to appreciate Troy Hawks for that. No matter what the result is, we are all here to play cricket, and that is what we did. And it was the only game which happened on Saturday, so I would like to take a moment here and appreciate the team.
True. That's a change with Troy Hawks. That's called spirit, a real spirit of the game.
Yes, and next, coming to the talent that Troy Hawks have, this year I think they have really added few good players, and Venu was one of them. He batted beautifully, man. I thought he was taking the game away, but it's just that they lacked the bowling depth, and that cost them the game. And to what Imthi said, no, it's not everything that is figured out. We still have those middle order worries in FCC. So you see those 4 wickets falling for 10 runs. Hopefully, the next game will give a chance to correct that.
Okay, the next game of the night is Southfield Super Kings versus Knight Riders Cricket Club, KRCC. Who's taking this game?
Imthi?
I'm taking this game, Jagan. So Southfield Super Kings versus KRCC. I think last week's predictions were heavily in favor of KRCC. And I think they justified the predictions also, winning this one. It was a close game. It doesn't look so with the score. It might not be that evident in the scorecard, but I think they lost 9 wickets to chase down the 97 KRCC. So.
True. They lost 9 wickets to chase 96 runs.
Right. So, and Southfield Super Kings, I think they have been a good batting unit throughout this season. They have improved a lot in their batting compared to last seasons, and I think that has some the team has gained some confidence through the season also. And unfortunately, many of the players in the team don't have those big scores in this game, but still they have like these performances from Satish and Arvind in the middle order, who stood there and made sure they had some runs on the board, and contributing 23 runs each. They didn't have much extras from the opponents, so they had to do bulk of the scoring. And I see some supporting contributions from their openers, Vinod, Ramesh, and then all the way down to the 10th person, Manjunath, who scored 10 runs. Also, all adding up to the total of 96 in 24 overs. I think it's still a good performance, not the par score this year, but I think Southville Super Kings would have been happy after the start that they got. And looking into the bowling figures for KRCC, one standout performance, Onkar Dombe, 5 wickets for 17 runs. I think that tells us the story why Southfield Super Kings were not able to maybe accelerate or get those extra few runs in the end. And going halfway into the game, KRCC would have been definitely confident of chasing this down. Owing to their own performances throughout the season, they have been putting in some good shows against some good teams, and they are touted to be one of the playoff team to make the playoffs this season from Pool B. So their opener started off well, Rohit Kumar, 21, but I think he did not get enough support from the other end. Like very down the order, Yogesh putting 13 runs, and then Abhishek Verma scoring 11, and then all the way Arjun, who was the last man, not one of the last man standing, with 12 runs from 6 balls. I think he scored a 6 and a 4 also. So maybe the momentum was shifting when he was batting and he hit those 2 boundaries to make the difference. Also extras, 16 extras towards the contribution of chasing for Knight Riders, helping them in the chase. I think losing 9 wickets and chasing down that score, I think it's a commendable performance from KRCC. In the end, they won, got the 4 points. So congrats to them.
Okay, our next game of the night is Rockers versus Blazers. Imthi.
Okay, I'll let KK talk about it for a few minutes, and then maybe I'll add if.
Okay, KK.
Yes, yeah. This was again a rescheduled game, if I'm not wrong, right, Imthi?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep,
correct.
And looks like.
So just before you start the analysis, sorry, but like you mentioned about rescheduling and playing the game, I think I would want to take a moment and really appreciate Team Rockers, because when we met on Saturday for the washed out game, like we were in no position to have a rescheduled game because the opponents were having other commitments or other games for the following days or the weekdays, and I think we just requested them if possible we'll play it. But I think Gayadhar, he went out of his way to arrange the game, make the team, make the playing 11 from his side, and even though they didn't have any motivation from a season perspective because they're like down in the table, they could have just settled down for 2 points and they could have done it. But I think they went above and beyond and played the game in right spirit and made the game happen. So I would just wanted to appreciate Team Rockers for that.
Yeah, that's a good kamikade, right? Because a lot of teams are now coming forward and they would rather play the game than split the 2 points.
That's I think this season actually. A lot of teams are showing interest to play. Maybe because because of the rain, they didn't get much.
Too many games affected, right? Yeah.
So hopefully this trend continues next year, and if committee can fix how to reschedule all these rained out games, then of course if it is rescheduled, they should mandate that they have to play. That way, everybody will enjoy the cricket. Please, KK.
That's right. So going into the game, I think the biggest turnout in this game is from Vimal. Vimal is back. I think he was on a vacation. He came back and he bowled beautifully. Man, he took 5 wickets for 14 runs, and that did not let Rockers actually score more runs. But the performances from their team were mixed. from Rockers because they had scores of 11, 11, 16, 9, and 9. But even this proves that even if you're contributing few runs to the board, that keeps on piling up, and finally you'll have a good score to play with. Rockers, they made 86 despite Kamal's heroic efforts there, 5 wickets for 14 runs. So that's the story of the first innings. And when it even Imthi, he took a couple of wickets there, but I would like to see Imthi open the bowling because at the very top, your bowlers need to be strong, and that is where the opposition tries to get their feet moving. And if you are not bowling your best bowlers at the top, then I'm afraid if it comes to a playoff game, then the opposition would do bulk of the scoring in those power play overs, and you don't want that to happen going into the knockout games. That's my analysis with the Blazers bowling and Rockets batting. And when it came to Blazers batting, man, it was Arul. He just ran away with the game, and by the time he was dismissed, Blazers were more than halfway through. We had 45 runs in 4 overs, and then there was a little fumble in the middle order. That's the story with most of the DCL teams throughout years. But Ketan stood there. He played those 32 balls, scored 12 runs, but he was well held by the rest of the folks like Akshat and Sham, who scored a 9 apiece. And then this is an interesting move. We see Hari going 6 down in this game. Usually he goes 2 down, whacks those balls over the boundaries, and he scores runs. But this is an interesting move. He is one of those top 3 run getters this season. He has moved to number 8 in this game. That is one interesting move. I would like to see what Imthi has to say. But when it came to Rockers bowling, Sudhakar and Sandeep tried to tie down the Blazers batting. They picked up 5 wickets for 20 runs in 8 overs. So that's the only positive out of this game for Rockers when it comes to the bowling department.
Okay, do you want to add anything, Imthi?
Yeah, I think it was well compiled by KK. But the only thing I wanted to add was the question about Hari. It was actually a forced move because he had some work commitment on Sunday, and so we had to kind of reshuffle our batting order because of that. And he actually had to step out from the game for a few overs and then come back, and that caused the delay for him to go into batting. So, and about our bowling performance, I think we could have got them more bundled out for more less runs, but I think the bowling was a little wayward in the middle, and we also gave away too many extras, 18 extras, and I think that helped them get those 86 runs. But again, beautiful bowling from Vimal. He just landed the day before and he just came to play the game, and I think he's just not lost the touch at all, even though he was on vacation, like picking up those 5 wickets immediately after a comeback. And with the comment about me bowling later in the game, I think this season we have been trying a lot of things with our bowling also, so that is also kind of a thing that we are wantedly trying to do with the new power play overs and all that stuff. So with batting, I think just Arul ran away with the game, like KK said. He just set the momentum for us, even though we had a big mess up in the between with losing quick wickets. I think the start that we got helped us fall not to fall too much behind. And also in the second innings there was a constant drizzle, so we are also looking at the thought of Duckworth Lewis coming into picture, so we had that also in our mind, and that kind of caused a little bit of chaos in the middle. But in the end, I think Ketan stayed there and finished the chase and helped us get those 5 points.
Okay, the next game of the night is Blues versus Avengers. KK.
Yep, coming to this game, Jagan, I believe this was also a rescheduled game. So Blues and Avengers played this game on a weekday, and Blues batted first. They scored 89 they were all out for 89 in 17.5 overs. And if you look at their batting scorecard, everyone contributed. I think this is one of the scorecards where I did not see a 0. So that is very rare. But we have to talk about Srinivas. Srini is, I think this year he's in hot form, and in the previous game I believe he scored a half century as well. So he is trying to score runs quickly at the top, and 3 out of their 5 top batsmen scored in excess of 10. And if you look at the scorecard, there were not many partnerships. That is what hurt Blues when it came to the batting. So there were hardly any partnerships of 20 or more. There was zero partnership of 20 runs or more. But with so many batsmen trying to settle down, and they should have probably tried to get more runs. But nevertheless, 89 is a good fighting score. And Blues have tied down few opponents earlier this season. They almost gave a shock to Indus Thunders, and then they beat MI Rangers later. So I had not tried their bowling off. So when it comes to Avengers batting, Avengers this year they have not performed well, and except their 2 batsmen, Rohit and Devraj, no one else even came into the double digits. And they were finally bundled out for 70 runs in 16.3 overs. And when it came to Blues bowling, Mohan Kutapalli was the star. He took up 5 wickets for 17 runs. So Mohan, he opens the batting for Blues, he opens the bowling for Blues, and he's a player to watch out.
It's all Mohan then. Okay. The next game of the night is Mustangs versus Indus Bowls. Right? Indus Bowls supposed to win this game. They did that. Your thoughts?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take it. Yep. I think the predictions also said the same thing. Indus Bowls, it was 3-0 last week, if I remember correctly. And I think Indus Bowls finally are getting into winning ways. They did win their previous game also, and then the second in a row, I think, this week. Batting first, scoring 106 for the loss of 9 wickets. The mainstay of batting was Raj Saigal, 43 runs, including 2 fours and 2 sixers, along with supporting roles from Azim, their seasoned player, 15 runs from him, and then their opener Yashwant, who scored 17 runs. Other than that, not too many contributions, but I think Raj Saigal held it at one end, and he played the anchor role throughout most of the innings and helped them score those 106 runs. To add that, I think the bowling for Mustangs was pretty decent. Not too many expensive overs, or not too many wicket-taking bowlers, but I think it was a mixed effort from Mustangs bowling. I think they need a wicket-taking bowler who can keep picking wickets in every game. I think that is what is missing in Mustangs. This is their first season. I think I'm definitely sure they'll learn as and when they play more games in the league and come back with a better bowling unit for the coming games. We already have seen their batting strength in a few games early in the season. And I think going halfway into the game, 106, they might have had an outside chance if they had their gun players scoring. The interesting factor is when they went into chase, they got all out in 16 overs, but still reached a score of 80 runs. So I'm just imagining if they were able to play out the 25 overs and maybe 1 or 2 people just standing there and hold the innings together, playing the anchor role, I think they could have easily chased down this. When they look back, retrospect about this game, I think that is what they'll think about. Akash, I think, who was their main batsman in the first few weeks, who also scored 90 odd runs against Warriors, if I remember correctly. I think he played a good innings here, 27 runs in the middle order. And then Bharat Gadari down the order, scoring 33 runs. He was the not-out batsman. I think he just needed support from the other end, which was not there. And I really feel bad for Mustangs because they could have easily won this game if they just stayed there and played out the entire overs. Hard luck to them, but I would really like to see somebody playing the sheet anchor role also in the team, because looking at the scorecards and there are few other games, Mustangs definitely have those big hitting players, but I think they still need that anchor role also. Looking into Indus Bowls, I think it was a mixed team effort. Bowlers sharing wickets between them, Vikram Sehgal being the top wicket taker, 3 wickets for 12 runs, and then 2 wickets each between Azim, Ashwani and Ishwar. All in all, I think Indus Bowls, even though they were a little expensive in their bowling, I think they were able to pick those 10 wickets, and that is what matters when you're defending, and they got their full 5 points here. So congrats to Indus Bowls and hard luck Mustangs.
Okay, the next one is MI Rangers versus Gladiator.
Jagan, before you go to that game, Do you want to mention about Vikram Sehgal? I heard he bowls ambidextrous. He can bowl with both
He can
right
bowl
and left.
right hand. He can bowl left hand. Is what I heard. I am waiting for the video. As soon as I get that video, I'll post it on our DCL group. Okay, this guy can bowl left arm spin and right arm medium pace. Is what I heard. Okay, with that, let's get into our next game: MI Rangers versus Gladiators. Imthi. Is it Imthi or KK?
Yeah. I think it's I'll take it.
Yeah. Stars.
Sorry.
No. Gladiator stars. They lived up to. That's what I said.
Yeah. Right. Like it aptly is what you said is apt in this case. I think Glad stars finally are shining, and this matchup could have been interesting if MI Rangers had a little bit of fight, I think. But unfortunately, if we look at the game and the scorecards, I think Gladiators just were too much on MI Rangers. Like Gladiators winning the toss, MI Rangers won the toss and elected to field. So that could have been a interesting toss there because they would have definitely not expected Gladiators to give so many runs against Gladiators. But looking at the scorecard, Arjun Ajbani playing his first game, although he has played, it shows that he's played 3 games, but I think the other 2 games were washed out games. So officially he's playing his first game, and boy oh boy has he come to the party. 62 runs from 36 balls. And I think like they say, like you can always count on players even though they are not regularly playing. Whenever they come and play, they just shine and outshine others. So Arjun Ajbani, this main scorer in this huge total of 164. Again, notable contributions from Vaibhav, 29 runs, Jeet, 17. I think it was a good batting performance where they had consistent flow of runs throughout the innings, but they were also like MI Rangers were able to hold them back in bits and pieces, where at one point they were like 6 down for 75, where they could have bowled a little bit aggressively and got those remaining 4 wickets and could have restricted the total to a lesser number. But I think the 7th wicket partnership between Arjun and Jeet was like the turning point where they scored 73 runs in approximately 9 overs. I think that is where I think they unleashed, and I think that gave them the momentum in the last few overs and helped them score 164. Definitely one of the high scoring games here. And if you look at the bowling figures for MI Rangers, Nagateja was the pick of the bowlers with 4 wickets, and then I see a few bowlers going at an expensive rate, and like extras also, 17 extras not helping their cause. Going halfway into the game, MI Rangers definitely would have had less confidence. They might have started on back foot just looking at the score, because again, Glad's batting, we all know how Glad's batting is. Glad's batting is bowling is also equally very good. So this year, I think on paper, I think Glad's and Raptors are the 2 best teams. So against Glad's, chasing 164 would be a daunting task for any team, I would say. And like we have been talking about Glad's bowling, I think they picked up the quick wickets also. And if you look at the scorecard, they were like 5 down for 15 runs in the first 4 overs. So you're already on back foot, and then you're losing quick wickets, further pushing you back in the chase. And once you are like 5 down chasing a huge score, I think it's very hard to catch up. There was some resistance in the between by Sai and Vamshi down the order, but that was definitely not enough for them to put up a fight or chase down that score. In the end, they got out for 86 in 20 overs. I really feel bad for MI Rangers because they were having a good season up till the first half, and then suddenly somehow they kind of lost momentum, I feel. And this was an important game, and they have few games remaining which I think they have to win. to come back into the top five. So I would wish them all the best for the rest of the games, and congrats to Gladiators.
I think this is the first time, if you look at that the Gladiators team, it's pure Gladiators with the exception of DP, I guess. Remaining all are ex-Gladiators is what I'm guessing. And
That's a good observation.
I don't see any
Bridges or Arsenal players.
Bridges or Arsenals here, yeah.
Except for DP. DP was from RC. Okay, yeah.
RC, yeah. Okay, with that, let's get into our next game. Boy, is it again? Is it the highest score this season or second highest score? Strikers versus Raptors. Raj Angad scored too many runs in this one.
Yeah, I think this is the second highest score. The highest score is still belonging to Brownstown, I believe.
Oh, is it Brownstown? Okay. KK.
Yeah. So coming to this game, Jagan, we all thought there will be brotherly love between both the teams, but Raptors really showed who the real daddy is. Raptors played mercilessly in this game, especially their top three. The top three contributed for 140 runs, 141 to be exact. So that proves how brutal they were. And Raptors, the strikers bowlers were not at all effective. They were giving away runs at 8, 9, 10 runs per over, and except for Rahul Nikam and Virat Pathak, who were their bowler number 6 and bowler number 8, and no one else really got going. Even the wickets which these two folks took, they were in the very end. They were almost after the 20th over. So you have to give credit where it is due. So Raj, Praveen, and Raj played fantastically. And coming to strikers batting, no one else got going. Only their number 7 Pankaj was able to score those 25, and within he just delayed the Raptors victory. And when it came to Raptors bowling, I think there is some brotherly love between Vraj and Raj. I see Raj took 4 wickets as per the scorecard, but in the bowling figures, he gave 1 wicket to Vraj.
That's a good observation. Yeah.
Yeah, and even Raptors were, just playing around with their bowling. They bowled 8 different bowlers, and it's good to see that 5 of their bowlers got the wickets. And if there is one team to watch out from this pool, it's Raptors. Raptors, I would bet they would be in the final 4.
Okay, the last game of the night is Knockers versus GLCC. I guess it's lived up to the expectations of analysts and DCL family. What do you say, KK?
Yeah, definitely, Jagan. Oh boy, GLCC has not lost a game this season. This is always the case with GLCC, right? One season they'll come back so strong that they'll not even give opponent a chance. So even in this season, they don't care if they're getting 4 points or 5 points. They just want to win. So they have not had a single loss so far in this season, and both Knockers and GLC would have taken this game prestigiously because there are only few games in the league stage where you play a mighty opponent and you want to win those games, and that gives you the confidence going into the playoffs. And this is one such game. And for Knockers, it's really unfortunate. Two of their top 3 batsmen bundled out early, and they were under some amount of pressure. But Prajwal, Prabhu, and Praveen Bangera, stayed on, scored those runs, and they gave something to fight for the bowlers. And this year, if we really look at Knockers bowling, they were giving too many runs when we go by their standards. Even with the teams which are at the bottom of the table, they were not really able to contain them, get them out for like 40s or 50s. The teams were able to score 80s and 90s consistently against Knockers bowling. So when you only have 105 on the board, then I really believe it's a tough thing to defend, tough score to defend, especially when you're playing teams like GLCC. And when it came to GLCC bowling, Akash Patel was the star. He did not give away much runs as well. He took 3 wickets for 13 runs, and boy, he had a fantastic game. And he came to bat as well. He just dominated. He scored those 39 runs, and with the help of Rahul and the season Ajit Singh, they were able to put on that score. And I believe until they got closer. They really didn't lose those wickets as well. So at the very end, they lost those wickets, but Roshan and Sudeep Patel, they finished the game, and GLCC got those 4 points. And congratulations, GLCC, you're unbeaten, and hope we continue the winning streak.
If I have to add one thing to this game, GLCC played without their main bowlers. Okay, Manish injured, Ajit bowling hand injured, Pradeep injured. There's one more bowler injured. I forgot the name. Okay.
Okay, now I have a question to you, Jagan, as you're from GLCC. So you have Akash, Samish, Roshan, and Rahul Ramanujan bowling, and you just spoke about 4 other bowlers missed out. So if those 4 folks come in, whom are you going to replace?
Whom are we going to replace? We see. Definitely Manish will be in, Pradeep will be in. That's it, right? Remaining 2 are playing. Ajit is playing. Okay, only Pradeep and Manish are injured. Yes, Ajit is already playing with the broken. With the injured hand. So it's easy to replace 2. And
I asked, whom do you replace? If it were you, who takes the call?
That's a wrong question for me. You have to ask Samish that one. Okay, next time what I do is for next show I'll bring in Samish. Okay, you can ask him straight.
Samish would be having his heart in his mouth, where Jagan will reveal all the strategy or the team combinations.
Okay, so that's why I'm giving a pass to this question. Okay, because we have another 20 minutes in the show. I want to ask you guys a quick question. If playoff starts today, in the weekend, who will be the 16th team?
I would rather reframe the question asking from which pool will be the 16th team.
Okay. See, I have my answer, and I'm sure it's going to be from that pool only. Yeah. KK, you tell.
Definitely. Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll let Imthi go first.
Okay.
No, I was just looking at the standings when you were discussing the other games. It kind of looks interesting. Pool B is definitely very competitive at this point. I think there are at least 7 teams who are have the same number of wins. They have played 8-9 games between them, and they're within a point difference of 3 points from the 2nd position to the 8th position. So, sorry, the 7th position. So, I think Pool B is very interesting at this point. We have some clear difference in Pool A between the top 2, and also in Pool C, looks like Raptors and Warriors are pretty well placed at this point. So just to answer Jagan's question, I think the 16th team would be from Pool B, I think.
Yeah, I'm guessing the same thing. And if you look at Pool B, you never know who can be number 1 at this time, because it's just 1 game, 1 or 2 games difference. And we have 4 more games left. Okay. So, KK, you're on.
Jagan, so if the playoffs are this weekend, Dark Horses will miss out the playoffs. Detroit Bulls will miss out the playoffs. Brownsville will miss out the playoffs. Then you have Pokeries who will miss out the playoffs. Then you'll have FCC who miss out the playoffs. So, a lot of things. And I would say the 16th team would be Canton 11 because they are the best ranked team now.
Yeah, right now they have 25 points to make it to the playoffs at the 16th spot if the regular season ends today. Okay. Now, you guys have any inputs or any observations from all the pool leaders? Imthi, do you have anything?
I think, like I said earlier in my statement, I think Pool A, Indus Thunders is pretty well placed at this point and definitely going to make the playoffs. They have four more games remaining, and Gladiators also is expected to make because they are sitting at 29 points at this point and have 4 games left. I think the remaining 3 spots, it will be a fight between Legends, Blazers, Blues, not Blues, but Dark Horses and Detroit Bulls, I feel.
You think Blues are out?
I'm not saying they're out, but just looking at the remaining matchups, I am guessing that Blues might have a little difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just based on the remaining games for the other teams and Blues. Remaining matchups. And like I said, Pool B is like totally open, even from rank 1 at this point. I think it's still open for anybody. We have teams from 1 to 8 that are capable of being in the top 5. So I wouldn't take out any team at this point. Some teams are having a mixed season. For example, Pokeries, who have had very many setbacks but came back strongly in the last week. And Panthers, who are doing absolutely well so far. I think they have found a new superstar in their team and who is playing well all across in different leagues also. And then we know Falcons, who are a seasoned team, who are known for bouncing back in the very last moment also and making the playoffs. So I think Pool B is the most interesting group at this point. If you look at Pool C, I think Raptors and Warriors placed well and definitely going to make the playoffs. Dynamites, who have been playing well, I think from my perspective, they will also make the playoffs. And I think the last 2 spots will be the key competition where between FCC Agni, Strikers, FCC. 3 teams fighting for those 2 spots.
Okay. KK, your thoughts?
Jagan, I think Pool B is so competitive because no team played all the games in Pool B. And they split the points, and that explains most of the teams being on 25s there. So if you look at Marcus, Falcons, Panthers, and Canton 11. Sorry?
Yeah, that is the reason, I think, because all the teams are so close to each other because of the games being washed out.
Mm-hmm. So Knockers, Falcons, Panthers, and Canton 11, all the 4 teams have played with 25 points, and all the teams missed 2 games. So you split 2 games, and you only have the result for the rest of the games, right? So, and I also, just for the record, looked at the games, and Avengers, Blazers, and SCC are the only 3 teams who played all their games. The rest 36 teams got at least one of their game affected.
Yeah.
So I really hope the rain guards don't spoil the rest of the week, and it stays that way. At least few of the teams playing all the games.
Okay. So if you guys have to, if I ask you guys to predict the winner, what do you guys say? Who has the best chance?
It's too early to call, but
I know it is.
If it comes to
our duty is to call. So
yeah. So if it comes to the best 4 who have a chance this year, I would say Raptors. I'm going in the order of my preference.
Yeah.
Raptors, then Indus Thunders, Gladiators, and GLCC.
Wow. Okay. Imthi.
Yeah, I think I was also thinking about the same 4 to make the semifinals also, if the matchups fall accordingly. It all depends on the first 16 that makes up the pre-quarters. And if the matchups are correct and we just look at the current form and how the teams are doing so far in the season, I think Raptors, Gladiators, Indus Thunders, and GLCC are the top 4 at this point.
Okay. With that, let's get into the predictions for next week. Okay. Our first game of the night is Gladiators versus TCA Knights. I'm giving it to Gladiators 2-0. Any objections there?
No.
Okay. The next one is Indus Thunders versus MI Rangers. I think Indus Thunders is 2-0 again. Any objections there?
No.
Okay. Legends versus Brownstone is going to be a very interesting game. Okay. Matchups wise, if you look at Legends, they're young and quick. Brownstone, little I mean, Brownstown is experienced. That's what I would say. Imthi, what do you say?
It would have been an interesting matchup, but because Brownstown couldn't get a game last week, I think they might have lost their chance to make it to the playoffs. I feel I'm just guessing at this point. So maybe I'll go with Legends for this
What
game.
happens if Legends win? Brownstown out?
I think so because they have played 7-8 games so far. Let me just check. Brownstown has played. Oh, okay. They have played only 7 games, so they have 5 games left. So, yeah, they still have a chance, but I think this would be kind of crucial for them to win. Then
For them, they have to win this one. And what is your prediction?
I'll still go with Legends.
Legends. Okay, KK, what do you say?
I'll go with Legends.
Okay. It's 1-1 then. Oh, 2-0 then. Okay, cool. The next one of the night is Pokeries versus GLCC. Okay. Imthi, your thoughts?
Okay. This is one of the games to look out for this week. Pokeries, after a crushing win against Knockers, I think must be high on confidence. At the same time, GLCC has not lost a game so far, so very interesting to this game. I think I'll go with GLCC.
Wow. Okay, KK.
Make it 2-0.
Interesting. I thought Pokeries, by looking at the way Pokeries beat Knockers and the way GLCC beat Knockers, okay, Pokeries, I thought is a better team when compared to GLCC.
Yeah, I would say that when they have their full squad, but as of now they're still short of their full squad.
Unless Jagan, you have some insider information about GLCC that's going to happen this weekend.
I'll see. I'll bet you. I'll bet on one thing. Samish will bring his best team for at least for some of the key games like Pokeries, Stallions. Okay.
Okay, let me just put it this way then. I'll pick GLCC, but the last time when I predicted for Pokeries against Knockers, I was hoping that they would really perform and get that win. So I'll wish the same for Pokeries this time, but my prediction will still be GLCC.
Okay. Okay. The next game of the night is Kites versus Falcons. I'm thinking Falcons all the way. Any objections there?
No.
Okay, another game of the weekend is TCS Stallions versus Knockers. This is going to be very crucial for Knockers. Imthi, your thoughts?
I think I'll go with Knockers for this game. And also this is quite an important game for Pool B because this might kind of separate the playoff teams a little bit. So I'll go with Knockers.
Go with Knockers. KK?
Yep, Knockers.
Good. The next one is Night Riders versus Tamil Pasanga. Night Riders 2-0. Any objections there?
No.
Okay. Lions versus Southfield Super Kings. This is going to be very, very interesting game. Imthi?
I'll go with Lions.
KK?
I'll go with SSK.
SSK, okay, cool. MCC Miles versus FCC. Okay, only decider is Imthi here.
Okay, I think I'll go with FCC.
FCC. It's going to be a very interesting game.
It is going to be an interesting matchup, right? Actually, because MCC also needs a victory in this game. I think, looking at the standings,
in fact,
so they'll have added motivation also.
See, MCC Miles is really, really working a lot, practicing a lot for this game. So watch out, FCC. What do you say?
So maybe Ram Saladi did not make it here because of the practice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Watch out then.
So the next game of the night is another interesting one: Raptors versus Warriors. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. Imthi?
I would have loved to pick Warriors, but I think I'll give it to Raptors. Just
KK.
owing to the fact that Jesse is not here also.
But
I was about to say that, Imthi.
Okay. KK, what do you say?
Yeah, I was about to say that, Imthi is picking Raptors because Jesse is not here.
Yeah, but he's listening.
So coming to the game, I would say Raptors are going to get a clean slate here, 5-0.
Okay. Next one is revenge time for KK. Dark Horses versus Blazers.
So this doesn't even remotely come close to a revenge game. I would write it to Blazers in the hard form they are in, unless the statue of Ann Arbor, Mahesh Mutiara, turns up and turns the game upside down.
Okay, so Blazers all the way. Rockers versus Detroit Bulls. I'm thinking Bulls, but I want to hear it from you guys. Imthi.
Detroit Bulls for me, yeah.
Okay. KK.
Bulls.
Bulls. Okay. The next one is Troy Hawks versus Mustangs. Going to be very interesting. I'm thinking Hawks all the way. Imthi.
Yeah, I think it will be Troy Hawks.
KK.
Yeah, I agree. Troy Hawks.
Okay. Risers versus Strikers. Imthi.
Strikers.
KK.
Make it 2-0.
Okay. The next one is Safaris versus Indus Bowls. It is going to be Indus Bowls 2-0. Any objections there?
No.
Okay.
No.
With that, all predictions are done. We will close tonight's show with the last.
Before
please.
you close, right, Jagan? I just want to go through the league in numbers.
Okay.
Okay, it's an interesting observation, but you see the number of sixes are greater than the number of fours this year.
That's something we expected with this ball, right?
Yes, but 558 sixes versus 533 fours. It usually will be in a ratio of 2:1, the fours and sixes ball ratio, but this year this just proves how hard this ball is and how fast it's traveling.
Yeah, see, another interesting, another thing I want to talk about is, I thought there will be more, at least 3-4 centuries by now. But unfortunately, number of 50s are more, but still we are with that 1 century, right?
I think we already have the record for the 50s, right? I don't think any season had 25 50s.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It hardly crossed a single digit simply in the past. But this time it's 25 50s. And I think a couple of them are from your team.
Cool. Good.
And also to add to that.
I think, but before the end of the season, I think there will be more hundreds. At least I would say at least 2 more. I'm expecting with the way teams are playing and teams have got used to the ball, and now coming into the core part of the season, I think there will be more runs scored and more at least 2 more centuries. I'm expecting.
Okay, let's hope for the best. With that, let's conclude tonight's show here with the last words from our analyst, Imthi.
Yeah, like we said, hopefully the weather stays out and we have all the games. We have very good, interesting matchups this week, especially in Pool B. We have cracker of games, a few matchups there, which might decide the fine line between the playoffs and the non-playoff teams. Same with other pools. This week might really separate the teams out. So all the best to all the teams, and hopefully we have all the games and everybody plays fair. All the best to all the teams, and thanks to all the listeners.
KK.
Yeah, I was just looking at the weather, Jagan. It's mostly sunny, so most of the games will happen at least on the Saturday. So, let's hope all the games happen. And again, this is a week where you want to get onto the ground, play the games. Last week we installed few games. And all the very best to all the playing teams. Try to put in a good show and win, have a party.
Okay. Actually, before closing this one, I thought of calling Avinash of Pokeries to today's show because of Ram Saladi's absence. But somehow I thought that one, and I went to shower, I came out, and I forgot. And I should have had him here for a night.
I think the age is catching up. I think the age is catching up.
True. Okay, so we should have we would have had an interesting talk about Pokeris versus GLCC. Okay. Anyways, hopefully we'll see great games next week. With that, we will conclude tonight's show. Good night. Keep listening. DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio.